maybe we'll see a familiar team coming out from this player.
Yeah, but let's first look at Esteban's team. We can see, okay, it's a very standard Dragapult balanced team. I think a lot of players should already be should be familiar with this team, because it is like the standard Dragapult balance with like redirection in Magmar in this case. Sometimes we also see Electabuzz on this slot, and we also of course have the Kingambit with the Swords Dance, which can threaten a lot of Pokemon with a lot of damage.
Yeah, very powerful team. Notably here, it's a Terra Water on the Primarina. That's not a Terra type that I've seen quite a lot. But yeah, Esteban is a player who has been around for a while. Your 2016 San Jose regional champion. So yeah, definitely someone who knows how it feels to be a winner. But then also recently at LAIC, this top 8 definitely shows that you have to watch out for Esteban and for Costa Rica as a whole. And I'm pretty sure this team, though, is something that is on everyone's radar at this point, and will probably be something that his opponent, who we now see here, will have at least a little bit of experience against.
Yes, this team has a little bit of everything. We once again have like redirection. We have the Volcarona with the setup, and this, as you mentioned earlier, is also the team that brought Hsuan to the top 4 in Gdansk. So like. Also a very strong player. We also see the successes in 2024. We see like EUIC, we see Utrecht special event top 64. So once again, a player that knows how to play against strong opponents. And we have like we see like a bit of everything, right? We see the Dragonite with haste to counter certain Pokemon like Dondozo, but we also have the setup Volcarona with like fake out support. And a thing that we don't see that often is the Grassy Seed Sneasler with Throat Chop.
Yeah, I think this might be the exact same 6 Pokemon that Paul Hinter actually used in Gdansk. I think him and Hsuan, they were building together, but I think on Hsuan-Chih's team, there actually was not the best Legion. What did he have? The Golden Go, yes. So they had like one different Pokemon, so a little bit of an adaptation. But if I'm looking at this team sheet correctly, well, I see Swift Swim here on the Basque Legion. Now, I don't know if this is like a transmission error or if this is actually a Swift Swim on a Choice Scarf Basque Legion. But yeah, that definitely would be kind of wild pick to try and counter Rain potentially.
Yeah, you can never have enough speed on that Basque Legion, because the faster you are, the faster you attack, those wave crashes hit hard. I think we also see is the Maushold, which isn't like it's a redirector that isn't very common. Like we see it next to Annihilate, but we don't see it on other teams that much. So this is going to be very interesting to see in this match. And I think if we're ready to jump in, we can also see what's going on here and what both players have prepared for us.
Yeah, it's going to be Basque Legion and Sneasler up against Dragapult Sneasler. So 2 really hyper fast, hyper offensive leads coming out from both players, and already on turn 1. Yeah, there are a lot of mind games on where you try to target with your choice Pokemon. So we have the Choice Band Dragapult and the Choice Scarf on the Basque Legion. And that's already a big choice and big commitment. Both of them, of course, are Ghost types. So yeah, Fake Out is not what you really need to worry about. But yeah, Basque Legion could be faster, could be slower. Depends a little bit on which nature the Dragapult is running and which nature the Basque Legion is running. So this is always, something that I think both players really want to get some info here on this first turn.
Yeah, this is also where the Grassy Seed on Sneasler is coming in very handy, because usually if Sneasler isn't faster than Dragapult, but with the Grassy Seed and with the Throat Chop, we're already threatening a KO. But we see a very safe protect on the Sneasler here, just scouting out the moves a little bit. We also see the flip turn, so trying to reposition themselves, just get the Basque Legion out of there, and let's see what they bring in, because Dragapult has not attacked yet.
I just have to run the calc here with that flip turn. Is this actually a Swift Swim, or are we looking at a team sheet error potentially? But either way, Rillaboom joins the field and will activate this Grassy Seed. So now, yeah, Sneasler getting that boost. Cannot really use it this turn, but a powerful Throat Chop, and that gets the KO. So yeah, not outspeeding the Dragapult for the Throat Chop KO, but still getting it done at the end of this turn.
Yeah, with Dragapult down, a big damage option is already gone. Like, there is a reason you play Choice Band Dragapult, because you want to spread as much damage onto the field as possible. But now the Dragapult couldn't really do anything, and so Sneasler and Magmar are staying on the field. Of course, there's always the support Magmar that you have to get through first. But there is a Basket Legion waiting in the back. And so how do you position yourself in a way that that doesn't become a threat later on?
Yeah, and I just read the calc. I think this is actually Swift Swim on the Basket Legion. Sorry for missing the speed interaction there, but it wasn't that powerful. The flip turn was kind of weak, but definitely surprising. But let's focus back on the game here. Esteban bringing in the Magmar. I think that is one Pokemon that you want to have when facing down against this Rillaboom and Grassy Seed Sneasler combination. But Terrestrialization on the Rillaboom will help to mitigate that potential damage output from the Magmar and the Sneasler just a little bit.
Yeah, we see the Terra immediately on that Rillaboom to keep it safe. We also see a fake out because like there's always the threat of Overheat and Will-O-Wisp. And the Direct Claw from the Sneasler into the other Sneasler. Will there be a status? No, there won't. But Direct Claw right in return. Doesn't do as much damage, but no status.
Yeah, that's my favorite interaction, of course, here in this Regulation H rule set. With the Grassy Seed and the Grassy Terrain, not dealing a ton of damage, but of course, we all know how just getting this right status condition can be so devastating. Esteban maybe considering going for a Terra Ghost here on the Magmar. I think the Fire typing, though, looks to be pretty nice. You should be able to maybe get a Will-O-Wisp off on the Sneasler, but at the same time, you gotta be afraid of something like a Protect and High Horsepower play coming out from this Rillaboom. And you don't really have a great way of punishing that other than hoping for Direct Claw into the other slot.
Yeah, one of the things we can also see based on the damage interactions here between the two Sneasler, one of them, and Swan's Sneasler, has a lot more damage did a lot more damage to the other Sneasler than Esteban's. We also see a very safe Protect, as you called it out. We see the Follow Me from the Magmar. So High Horsepower would be a very safe play here to just get some chip damage on this Redirector, because as soon as it's gone, that will open up the game a lot.
Oh, but let's see if it's gonna happen, because there's the Paralysis.
We see the Para, the High Horsepower comes through, does a big chunk of damage to the Magmar. That is going to help a lot for later on, because I think now a Flip Turn will just take this Magmar out as well.
Yeah, I really like the play here from both players, identifying that, Rillaboom isn't really under that much threat here, and High Horsepower can hit either the Sneasler or the Magmar for super effective damage. But now that you have this Paralysis down, I still don't think that Esteban could get the knockout on the Sneasler, even with on the Rillaboom, even with a double up. So you still need to think about how to get rid of that Sneasler, but Terra Ghost, Will-O-Wisp, or maybe even Overheat might be able to do the job. Hovering over what to do here. Which fire move would you go for here? Overheat or Will-O-Wisp?
I think you need to make some progress very fast, because as we can see, Swan still has all 4 Pokemon, right? And you already lost half your Redirector, and then there's the one Pokemon in the backside, right? So I think you need to go for the Overheat to just make this progress. And we see the Terra Ghost, as we called it out. The question is, Overheat isn't the most accurate move, as we know. Will it hit? That's the important part.
It's a little bit more accurate than Will-O-Wisp. Maybe that's also one of the reasons why he chose it, but it's the close combat. No Direct Claw this turn. Perfect Terra coming in from Esteban. Direct Claw, though, getting the Para as well. That will get rid of this Unburden boost, but let's see if Sneasler will even make it through the turn. Overheat coming out, and
yes,
just barely.
The 1 HP, wow, and followed up by a High Horsepower from the Rilla into the Sneasler, which takes it out. I think the focus here was on the Sneasler. I think Esteban wants to get rid of the Sneasler, and that might also tell us what might be waiting in the back. And we can already see it is the Kingambit.
Yeah, big swing here this turn. It looked as if things started so well for Esteban, getting that Terra Ghost, avoiding any damage from the close combat, but then, the double up not enough to get the knockout. Maybe close combat could have been enough to do the trick. But I wanted to maybe go for some status, or didn't want to lower the defenses. But the Rillaboom was saying, well, I don't even care about your defenses right now. High Horsepower is going to be enough to get the knockout either way. And now, Kingambit, I mean, if there is a Pokemon who can make the comeback happen, it is probably something like Kingambit. But yeah, you need to be still worried about the Sneasler, because it still has that Unburden boost. So even though it is paralyzed, it will likely outspeed the Kingambit. However, yeah, with Follow Me, the Magmar might be kind of safe as well. It looks like Esteban cannot really make up his mind here as well, whether he wants to set up or go for the attack.
Yeah, this is a very scary situation because, like, yeah, we see the close combat redirected into the Terra Ghost, and the Kowtow coming out to remove the Sneasler, and now with that Pokemon gone, the Kingambit, as you said, might actually be able to do it, because this is also a Black Glasses Kingambit, which can power its way through this team with the right amount of support. But unfortunately, the Woodhammer from the Rillaboom, like, the Pokemon wasn't paralyzed, and so the Woodhammer came through and took out the Magmar, which might make it a little difficult.
Yeah, big KO here from the Rillaboom, and even though this Basculegion that we know is waiting here in the back, that Pokemon, won't do too much against this Kingambit probably, but there's still one more unrevealed Pokemon waiting in the back as well. And I think Kingambit, maybe if it had like 1 or 2 turns, maybe 1 turn to like set up, and then potentially it could have knocked out this Rillaboom before it got to hit. But in this particular situation, Esteban had to make something happen and decided to go on the offense here with a Kowtow Cleave on the Sneasler. We could really see Esteban there struggling to make a decision, hovering over different moves and different targets. But in the end, not quite enough to get into like a situation where the Kingambit is boosted, and now it's going to be so difficult here.
Yes, but since the Terra is already wasted on, or was already used on the Rillaboom, we can see the Sucker Punch goes into Basculegion. It is still a Ghost type, so that means this is a clean one-hit KO. Now it comes down, will Rillaboom move?
Yeah, gets off this high horsepower, which of course will not be able to get the like one-hit knockout, but just puts the Kingambit maybe in range of another one. And Dragonite is actually the last Pokemon, so that's kind of curious, because Dragonite actually on this team doesn't have a lot of moves to really hit this Kingambit at all. I mean, it can go for a Scale Shot or an Extreme Speed, but that's not going to do a ton of damage. But with Grassy Terrain gone, there's no more recovery for this Kingambit, so you really need to choose your targets very, very wisely here as the Kingambit.
Yeah, we see the Scale Shot coming out directly, immediately into the Kingambit. Not super effective and also not very accurate. Still hits 4 times minimum, we can see it due to the loaded dice. And we saw 5 hits here, which, if this Rillaboom gets to move now, this should be a very hard task for this Kingambit to take out. But first we see the Kowtow Cleave.
With a death boost, but high horsepower comes out and will knock out this Kingambit, and first aim goes to Hsuan-Chih, but I think that was a little bit more scary than it looked, especially after how this first turn went, and then also how at some point in the middle game it just felt like, well, the Pokemon advantage was just too big. But Kingambit there, I mean, if you can get a couple of Pokemon paralyzed on your opponent's team, and then you have the Sucker Punch for the Basculegion, you have the Dragonite on your opponent's team that cannot really hit you. I mean, if the best way for a Pokemon to hit you is doing like 25% and lowering your defense, like you know, like that's not the spot you want to be in. So I wouldn't be surprised if both players maybe switch up their game plans a little bit going into the second game, maybe focusing a little bit more on the Kingambit a little bit earlier on is something that Esteban could be trying to do. And then of course on the other side, Hsuan-Chih is probably thinking about how to stop that from happening.
Yeah, Esteban had the right Pokemon in the right position, but it just needed a little bit more support. Like this Magmar would, like, that's also why probably they were so careful about their move selection at one specific turn, because if Magmar survives there, this might actually turn around the entire game, because then the Kingambit can sit up and can just power through the Dragonite even with the minus defense from the Scale Shot. But yeah, we'll definitely see how this one turns out. We immediately jump into game 2, and we see Maushold Volcarona, so some Follow Me setup there, and we see a Follow Me support on both sides, and Dragapult for Esteban.
Yeah, Magmar coming out probably wanted to try and redirect any incoming throat chops, because that Dragapult was kind of sad in the first game, didn't really get to do anything there. So with the Follow Me support here from the Magmar, maybe anticipating a repeat of the game 1 lead, but no, instead it's going to be full focus on the Volcarona. And with that Maushold, like, that is a combination that we've seen plenty of times in like some earlier formats, but it hasn't really been too popular in this format, but it's just, it makes so much sense. I mean, you have the friend guard and the mouse hold really supporting this Volcarona, and with the leads that Esteban has, there's no real way to do a lot of damage to the Volcarona right away. But this could be a nice play here, anticipating this protect coming out from the mouse hold, but no, instead it's just a double protect safe play here by Hsuan.
Yeah, the double protect is very safe against choice Pokemon because you can scout out what they will do, and if there is no setup next to it or no Pokemon that can like change the board state in a very meaningful way, then this is very safe to just scout out what is it doing and then how do you want to react. And now since there is a U-turn coming out and Dragapult is locked into this U-turn, Hsuan can basically choose to just focus down the Magmar or to set up freely because the move is locked and they can't change it.
Yeah, U-turn, I don't know how much I like that choice because, well, if you go into the Volcarona, then there's always the chance of being burned by the Flame Body. The mouse hold also is holding that Rocky Helmet damage, so yeah, a little bit of drawback will happen either way. But more notably, it means, as you pointed out, the Volcarona is really free to set up here in this place. And, well, Magmar can try and maybe go for, yeah, an overheat into the mouse hold. Maybe that's your best bet here. Try to get the knockout, but I'm not sure if that will be enough. But, yeah, let's see what the Dragapult will U-turn out into.
Yeah, we might see this Gambit game plan that you've mentioned earlier, but the problem with that, this is a double dark move Gambit. So it has Counter Cleave, it has Sucker Punch. It cannot really hit this Volcarona. And also Volcarona, this is the Terra Fairy Terra Blast variant, which recently has seen a lot more resurgence or has been used a lot on teams. And after a Quiver Dance, it really comes down to how this Dragapult is trained. But it might actually outspeed the Dragapult, and with the super effective Terra Blast, can just take it out.
Yeah, maybe you can try to force the Terra, bring the King Gambit first, and try to force out the Terra Fairy from the Volcarona, and then use your Sneasler after that. But even then, yeah, you would probably lose a lot of HP in the process. Super Fang cutting Magmar's HP in half, and this Volcarona is just free to set up.
Yeah, now what do you do, right? You cannot even redirect the Heat Wave of the Volcarona.
Ooh.
And with the boost, the mouse hold avoids the overheat.
Yeah, to make things even worse here for Esteban, not even the overheat. I mean, if that connected and if that was enough for the knockout, then that is something. But now you're staring down this boosted Volcarona. Friend Guard is still in effect, and Follow Me will be available for Hsuan-Chih as well. So, yeah, this turn you probably can't even get through to even damaging the Volcarona. And yeah, this is one of those spots where you're like, you kind of know what your opponent is going to do. Like, they will probably just go for something like a Follow Me and Heat Wave, maybe another Quiver Dance, but there's not a lot that you can do about it. I like the idea of going for a Swords Dance because, yeah, if you get something done, then yeah, just the regular Kowtow Cleave, like, that's not going to do a ton of damage against this Terra Fairy Volcarona now.
Yeah, we see immediately the Terra coming out from this Volcarona to just resist a few moves here and there. I mean, this will definitely, the Terra Dark Sucker Punches won't do a lot of damage, or the Terra Ghost Sucker Punches won't do a lot of damage. We also see the Terra from the King Gambit into this Ghost Terra. And now it comes down to what will this mouse hold do, because the only upside for Esteban in this very specific position is that the Magmar is really difficult to remove. We see the protect from the mouse hold just to keep the Friend Guard on the field and reduce the damage, and another Quiver Dance.
Yeah, maybe you could have tried to maybe predict this, maybe go for like a Will-O-Wisp or an Overheat into the Volcarona, but even then, like, you're not really making any progress. If you overheat it into that slot, you're dropping your special attack, so then you will need to spend another turn getting rid of that mouse hold. So yeah, it's just going to be a turn of no damage being dealt, but two Pokemon just setting up, and I think, once again, Hsuan-Chih is the one who's maybe a little bit happier to see this, because, yeah, at +2 now, this Volcarona really packs all the damage it needs. Heat Wave might already be enough for a knockout on the Magmar, potentially, but even if it's not, like, yeah, you're not really under any threat here, except for maybe a critical hit overheat. But even then, you still have the mouse hold. You can just Follow Me, or you can try and switch it out. Well, looks like here our player has some other plans.
Yeah, with the Rillaboom on the field, you now have the pressure of Fake Out, so you can now you can also go for a super effective high horsepower into the Magmar just to remove it a little faster. The King Gambit goes for a Protect, doesn't want to take this Heat Wave or Terra Blast. We can already see that Heat Wave coming out, and now we can see how this Volcarona is trained. Is +2 enough to take out the Magmar? It is not. But now, will the Overheat connect? Yes, it does. Into the Rillaboom. The Maushold did switch out of that, so it is still alive in the back. But the Rillaboom had to take the damage for it.
Yeah, I think with this type of game plan that we're seeing, like kind of protect the Volcarona game plan, like any damage you're doing to the support cast, like it's not really that meaningful. Like you need to get a KO to stop the cycle of like fake out and follow me support. But you would probably need to go through the supporting cast first before you can even think about going after the Volcarona, because this Volcarona, it has leftovers. Yeah, we have grassy terrain recovery as well, and there could be potential like fake out or friend guard and follow me support. So it's really tough to stop the cycle from happening. And yeah, Hsuan-Chih is just like, well, I have the threat of fake out on the field, but now I would rather just ensure that I have friend guard on the field for this turn. Nice switch, and once again the Volcarona, yeah, can just go for another Heat Wave.
It's still not enough to knock out the Magmar. 1 HP survival. We see the Kowtow Cleave going into the Volcarona. It is a +2 Kowtow, but it is not enough thanks to the Terra Fairy. And now we see why this combination of Rillaboom, or why Rillaboom was brought onto the field, because the combination of the leftovers and the grassy terrain just gives so much recovery. And this Volcarona will be so much harder to remove, despite like taking half health from this Kowtow Cleave. It will still stick around for at least 2 more turns.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. I feel like, yeah, you have to try, and or maybe he was just hoping for like a critical hit there, but even that probably would not have been enough. But you need to try and get through the supporting cast first, because this Volcarona is just like it's a wall there. The defense is not that great, but with his fairy typing, just matches up really nicely into what Esteban has on the field right now. And yeah, as you were saying, the recovery will just keep on coming. We can probably just expect the Protect coming out from the Volcarona this turn. Maybe another switch to Rillaboom. You could try and go for that, but nope. Looks like actually it might be just Follow Me and Heat Wave coming up this turn.
Yeah, we see the Follow Me, and the thing is, Follow Me doesn't really help because you also have the Heat Wave. Now, Heat Wave can miss. There is a chance it will miss. Will the Magmar survive in this turn? It will not. But this is also like, we can see how Swan has this team under control, because they also know, they also had the foresight to set up a second Quiver Dance, which means no matter how fast this Dragapult was trained, the Volcarona should be faster now after after doubling its speed.
Yes, that is for sure. And it has that Terra Fairy, Terra Blast available as well. We don't have any Terrestrialization available for the Dragapult. So yeah, if Dragapult switched in, that would just be KO'd right away. So I think you have to go into the Sneasler here. But even with the Sneasler, because the Maushold is carrying that Rocky Helmet item, yeah, it's so tough, because yeah, you want to get rid of the Maushold, sure, but after potential double protect this turn to get around the fake out, then next turn it's just gonna be like a Follow Me, but again potentially, and what do you do about that? Like Follow Me, like double protect this turn, then Follow Me and Heat Wave next turn, and it's just so hard to play around that, because yeah, what do we even do here? Esteban thinking about protect fake out? It's not really going to get you anywhere. I mean, ideally, you would want to try and force this Volcarona to protect, and then maybe bring the fake out on the field the same turn. Maybe that's actually why Hsuan-Chih decided not to go for a protect the previous turn, even though it could have been a little bit more recovery. Because yeah, at that point, once you have the boosted Volcarona, you really have to think about, okay, what are some ways? How could I lose this? And yeah, that could have been a way, but now you know that you can't just go for the safe double protect. Nice play there. I don't know if Esteban punishes this or tries to go for like a sword stance, but even then, yeah, it's still a long road for him.
Yeah, we see the sword stance as you called it. So now this King Gambit should pack the punch to take out this Volcarona. But Esteban's biggest enemy is the time. These leftovers, the recovery from the grassy terrain, it will just heal this Volcarona over and over and over. And that means by now it might even be out of range for the +4 Sucker Punch. Like, it might be close, but it could get there. And so
Yeah, I think
that.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you have to go for the kowtow and just hope that this is like the heat wave is missing. But there could even be like just a Terra Blast, I guess. But yeah, maybe you try and predict that the Terra Blast is coming in the King Gambit, because like Follow Me is so safe from the mouse hold. You can redirect a potential Sucker Punch. And even if it's close combat and knocking out the mouse hold, then you take recoil damage on the Sneasler from the Rocky Helmet. So yeah, like Follow Me, I would be shocked to see anything but Follow Me coming out from this mouse hold. But then what does the Volcarona do? It could try to go for the Heat Wave, would probably be enough, but you risk missing. So I think Esteban is calling that this is a Terra Blast to avoid a potential miss chance.
Yeah, but even if this like Heat Wave comes out and misses the Sneasler, there's still the fake out pressure on the next turn, and we're not even sure.
Oh,
we see the miss. Here's the close combat. That means despite the Rocky Helmet chip, this does not do enough, and that means the Sneasler gets to move another turn.
Yeah, that's definitely really helpful here for Esteban. So it's almost as if it's almost as if the Terra Blast came out. I mean, it's the same outcome. No damage done on the Sneasler. But Volcarona, of course, uses the chance to just recover a little bit more. Some more grassy terrain. The Sneasler will not be back to having the Focus Sash active even after another turn of grassy terrain. So even if the Rillaboom comes out here for Hsuan-Chih, that's not something that he needed to worry about. But this opens the opportunity for a Sucker Punch, like critical hit play potentially. I mean, it's still so tough, but maybe that's something that you want to go for now.
I think you have to.
Yeah, with the mouse hold off the field, no more Follow Me, no more Friend Guard, and you are at +4. So yeah, you never know. If you're moving first, I mean, there would be a way to get the knockout.
This also shows the power of Terra Ghost King Gambit, right? Terra Dark would do more damage, yes, but Terra Ghost allows you to move in this specific turn, because the King Gambit had to protect the last turn to remove the mouse hold, and we see the fake out, we see the Sucker Punch. Is it enough? It is not. That means
not enough. Heat Wave connects with both, and that's a double knockout.
And since we know Dragapult is waiting in the back, and we know there is a super effective Terra Blast from a Terra Fairy Volcarona, I think if this Dragapult isn't trained in a very specific way, I don't think there is a way you can survive that one.
I'm not even sure if there is a very specific way, at least within the boundaries of the game. Yeah, so nicely positioned here by Hsuan-Chih, just protecting this Volcarona with the Rillaboom and the mouse hold core. Yeah, that was a fantastic display of how that Pokemon can really run through some of these teams if you give the opportunity. And I think it all comes down, or it all comes back to this very, very first turn. While now we see the last turn of the battle play out, Grassy Glide and the Terra Blast will be enough to knock out this Dragapult. But yeah, in the very first turn of the game, we saw this U-turn, and from then, Hsuan-Chih knew that it was just a free option to go for the